you're Japanese, you may have recognized that that isn't Japanese. So, Naxaltanis is Latin for the night dances. So what you saw was pairs of drummers moving together, basically a more lighthearted song compared to some of the heavier driving things that we sometimes do in Taiko. So we're hoping you enjoyed that. But the next thing we've got for you is something a little more on, ooh, it's back. Is a little more on theme. So this next song is called Undertale. And for those of you who have played the game, this may be a bit familiar to you. One thing that we do need to say specifically is that we reached out to Toby Fox, who composed the music specifically, and got permission to play this for you at these sorts of events. The arrangement you're about to see was put together by this guy right here. That's James Sammartano, one of our authors like Greg and some of the other people you'll see tonight or hear about tonight. So we're hoping that you enjoy Undertale and that even if you haven't seen the game, haven't played the game, that it fills you with determination. was inspired by a time he spent in Montana doing Tai Chi. Now, I want to be very clear about this. If you do Tai Chi, you've been to Montana, you're doing something here in the Twin Cities, this is not exactly Tai Chi. We don't need the angry emails. This is inspired by Tai Chi, not Tai Chi. If you correct our form, you're just going to throw us off. Okay? Are we good? Yeah? All right. Excellent. So I hope you enjoy Sky and Clouds. not just you in the room that this is for, so hopefully, it's working. So that's what we have for you in terms of songs. I hope you enjoyed the program we put on for you today. We cobbled it together a little last minute, so how did that go? Was that all right? Excellent. So if you'd like to see more things like this, and you're not already planning on going to Convergence, where we tend to play every year, there are a couple other places that you can find us. Specifically, the Obone Festival at Como Park that happens in August every year, and the Normandale Japanese Garden Festival, which customarily happens in October. So you can find us at both of those, and we're already signed up for those for this year. So if you want to see us do more of this or things like this but slightly different, that might be a great opportunity. And as other things come up, we often do what?
So I've been informed by the rest of the group and probably everybody here that we have not had enough anime in this concert. So while between songs I was tatting away on the typewriter backstage, I wrote a pretty long thesis here about why we need more anime.
Yeah. Interesting. Should that be a paragraph? I don't know, That said, it's not a bad idea. Let's give that a shot. Will that do? Excellent. Again, thank you so much for spending a whole bunch of your afternoon with us. We're going to have a couple of us up here to do informal Q&A, so if we can kind of normalize to house lights, that would be great. But if you want to hang around and ask questions, that's great. If you've got a bunch of chips that you just have to eat right now and you have to get to Consqueet, I get that too. And then also, after we're done with Q&A, if you want to kind of walk up and chat with people, that's also fine while we're packing up. But first, I need everyone to come out here and bow.
Cool. Oh, cool. I'm Marit. Once the house lights up and I can actually see people, I will be happy to take any questions you guys have. Because we can't see anyone right now. So, does anyone have any questions? I see a hand. These are called, so these are a version of the typical outfits that are worn during taiko performances. They're called hapi. And hapi can come in any number of forms. There are also forms that have sleeves. There are forms that tie. There are forms that don't tie. And there are also forms that tie together with obi. So it is the traditional performance costume.
And we picked this particular configuration in colors because we thought it looked cool.
Yes.
Other questions?
Yes. We first got together in late 2012, but we didn't have our first performance until 2013 at Convergence. So this is our 6th year. 6.5, something. 6.5, yes. Yes. So I started at St. Olaf when I was in college. Umiaya! And so St. Olaf and I believe St. Cloud have collegiate taiko. St. Kate's did too for a little bit. But in the Twin Cities, there is a group called Taiko Arts Midwest, and they give classes. So if you look that up online, Taiko Arts Midwest is where you can get going and get started with taiko.
Another option, if you don't feel comfortable jumping straight into classes, is Kadon, Kadon.com, offers taiko instruction online that you can do in the privacy of your own home where you can annoy your family and your neighbors. Other questions? Now that I've got my glasses on, I can really see you.
Yes. I mean, we do. I think that Holly is also on staff here. There's Holly. Woo! Holly's on staff at Detour, and she does some fantastic cosplays. This year, you're the doctor, right?
Yeah, this year I'm 13.
You're 13, yeah. The rest of us, not at Detour, but I mean, lots of us do cosplay. I cosplay.
I call that lack of forward planning. But if you see us at Convergence and you see our Friday afternoon preview, we often perform that in cosplay, in addition to the weirdness that happens actually on stage. And it does get weirder.
That, like, playing taiko in 4-inch heels is not a good idea.
No, no. We don't generally recommend it. Any other questions?
Yes, in the back. So taiko is interesting because you do not have to have any experience playing Western notation to play. We learn via kuchishoga, which means mouth notes. So, too bad we don't have the drums out here anymore. But go get the drum! Unless they're, thank you, Greg. So, for example, we learn with phonetically. So if, for example, for Matsuri, when we're learning it, instead of looking at sheet music, we would say, if I said, don, 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 karakaka, don, don, sut, don, don, karakaka, it translates to.
Make me do this
Yes. Okay, so it varies what different kuchishoga mean, and it varies among groups too. But no, you don't have to know how to read sheet music in order to learn taiko. There are actually quite a few of us who do not read sheet music.
I kind of do, but only to get myself in trouble.
Yeah. Yes.
What flutes did you guys play? Did you use traditional flute playing techniques to play them? Or?
Yes and no. These are called shinobue. Fue just is the Japanese word for flute. Shinobue is the actual name. The techniques are similar to traditional flute playing, but for example, I had never played a transverse instrument before this, so I had no flute experience before it. So the technique is slightly different, and for example, shinobue, you don't tongue the notes at all. If we are ever tonguing notes, it's because we're playing Western music, but traditional Japanese music does not have any tonguing. So yes, it's similar, but it's not the same.
That sounded slightly weird. It's okay to find that slightly weird. The other thing that I'll just extend, because Vanessa, our other fue players, is my wife, so I hear a lot about how you have to work extra hard on the fue to get special notes like accidentals and things like that, where you actually literally have to cover half a hole very precisely.
So unlike flutes, you can see that fue do not have buttons. They just have holes. And so, unlike a flute, you cannot just press down a lever to get an accidental. You have to half-hole things. That's particularly difficult if it's fast on a fue, and it's also difficult because these are made of bamboo. Fue are known for being particularly temperamental when it comes to pitch. So, for example, your fue are different numbers. So this one on my right, your left is an 8, and it's in the key of C, and the one on the left is a 6, and it's in the key of B flat. So, for example, my 8 is a lot more sharp than Vanessa's. So tuning to one another is a real trick because there's nothing you can do about it. So, yeah.
Other stuff while you've got us. Ask us the difficult questions. We stood up here and asked for it.
What?
Oh, the meaning of life was the question.
42.
Bonus points.
Favorite anime?
Ooh, go ahead.
Helsing.
Oh, I'm conflicted. So much stuff. I'm going to say the Count of Monte Cristo, Gantakutsuo, is probably my favorite at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Full Metal Alchemist is a close second for me.
I get into literary stuff.
Now
What
I
can
just
tell
want to
you?
go into down the rabbit hole of but I like so many.
Yeah. So what's good party anime? Oh, yeah, go
Yes,
ahead.
question. Favorite anime tune to play?
Ooh.
That's hard.
Because we've done a lot of
Because we
Miyazaki.
have. I really enjoy playing anything Ghibli. So, I really like playing Itsumonando Demo. That one's really fun. We also played Legend of Ashitaka. Yeah, pretty much anything Ghibli I really enjoy playing.
And I have a kind of cheat answer to that question because it's kind of fun to play. It's not, strictly speaking, anime, but we do Cherry Blossom Storm from the game Okami sometimes.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of fun to play.
Yeah, not an anime, but lots of fun.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
What was the one that we had everyone singing with? Dragon Age. We played
Dragon
Dragon Age
Age.
last year, and people were singing with us. That was great. God, no.
So
Because
let me unpack that for just a moment because that was one of the first things I thought, couldn't we just do Tank, please? And the answer to that is there's so many accidentals in Tank.
we only have one brass player, Jill, who, we said that to her, and she was like, no. No. She's like, I will not do that. We did play Final Fantasy VII fight theme one year, and after that, Jill basically told me she'd murder me if I made her do that again. No. No.
Now, you
need an orchestra for that.
This interaction that we're having right here is every year when we come to plan what we're going to do for the next year. How about that? No. How about that? No. This is how this works.
The thing is that, it's not that we don't have ideas, it's just we're very limited. The main melodic things are carried by the fue. So if there's too many accidentals, we can't do it because you won't recognize it.
Yeah.
Possibly. I don't know. I'm not super familiar with the Trigun theme.
Well, it depends on whether you're talking about the last donuts or, because Trigun's got the two themes, the one at the beginning and the one at the end, but both are going to be really hard. So we haven't attempted either of those yet.
Yes. Well, in my case, it started because I got obsessed with Attack on Titan. It depends on the person. So I can tell you for me, but for Greg, for James, for someone else, it might be different. For me, it's is that James? We're talking about composing.
Well, you can arrange that. Talk about arranging.
Still. For me, there is a free application called Muse Score. And what I learn music through traditional Western notation. So for me, I can't really conceptualize something unless I write it out in notes. So I write things out in a full score, and then I later teach them in Kuchishoga. But other people, I know, just keep notebooks. where they write out kuchishoga and like movements, and somehow it translates into the song in their head. I don't understand, but it works. Yeah.
I also use MuseScore, and I actually got started taking a song that was existing and arranging it into something else using the composer in Mario Paint for the Super Nintendo. And MuseScore has been a natural evolution of that. So yes, I use the same thing. Greg's not here. He doesn't.
Any what? Fake book. Any good anime to fake book? Is that what you said? Oh, you're the one who actually plays like, well, Scott, you play bass. I don't know because I don't play.
I haven't bought actual sheet music in a while.
A good anime to fake book the music, yes? Is that the question?
We are useless for your purposes.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was gonna say, I play drums, piano, and these. I tend to just turn on things and see if I can figure out the melody.
Yeah. Just noodling around.
Yes. It's very different. Recorder is so much easier to play than a fue. It's epically easier. I mean, like, I was like anyone. I took recorder, like many people in the U.S. school system, I should say, and I had like recorder when I was in 4th grade, 5th grade. Super easy. You can pick it up in a second. This takes a lot longer. It's also different because fue has its own notation. So there is Western notation, but then we read the characters underneath because each different fue number has a different fingering for different notes. So if you try to play the same thing on a different, it's going to be fun. So you have to read the fue notation underneath, which is in kanji.
It's a real problem. I've tried to learn fue, and I haven't gotten very far because, oh boy, no, it's a problem.
Anything further?
You guys are awesome.
Thank you. Thank you guys for coming.